Hey y'all, today we will be building your first web page. This will be a very short and to the point introduction into web development. This will actually not, that's a stretch actually. This will be a very quick video to show you how easy it is to get started and get some immediate feedback. I think one of the most common reasons that people either don't even start learning web development or programming, or they start and they stop really soon after, is because they think that it's overly complex. Like, oh, I need to be really good at math, or this just looks really hard. I'm never going to get this. And so I think that once people realize that you can do this and it's not just magic, I think that they are way more likely to actually succeed and see this through. I think getting rapid feedback early on is one of the most important things you can do to make sure that you stick with this and it kind of demystifies things. So your very first web page is not going to be anything pretty. We're going to make it in less than 2 or 3 minutes here. Let's get started. So first off, what I want you to do is open up TextEdit if you're on a Mac, or open up Notepad if you're on Windows, or open up your text editor of choice if you're on Linux. I'm using Mac, so I'm going to open up TextEdit. I want you to go to File and, click Text Edit and Preferences. And I want you to make sure that you set this format to plain text. It's probably on rich text as the default. And on Open and Save, just do display HTML files as HTML code instead of formatted text. Next, File and New. And we're going to type, we're going to make this a little bit bigger. So let's see. That's a little too big. There we go. Angle bracket, exclamation point, doc type, space HTML, close bracket. And then we're going to do bracket HTML, close bracket, skip a couple lines, bracket / HTML, close bracket. We're going to give ourselves a little room here. And I'm going to indent a couple of spaces. And I'm going to do a head here. And I'll explain what all this is in a second. I'm going to close that here with this /. I'm going to indent some more, do a title, and I'm just going to type hello here. And I'm going to close that as well. And then right here, I'm going to do body. And I'm going to close the body. I'm going to indent some more. And then I'm going to do H1, hello YouTube. You can type whatever you want. You can say hello to me. If you wish, I'll say hello back to you. Hello. You can say hello to your dog. I don't care. It's your hello. All right. This is it. So I'm going to make it a little smaller so we can see the whole thing. This is all you should need. What I'm going to do now is hit save. So File Save or Command S. And I'm just going to save this as hello.html. If it asks you this, just say use HTML. All right, now we're going to open up that file. So I've got the folder open here. This is hello. I'm going to double click this. And you see it actually opens up users, JC Hyatt, desktop, web page, hello.html. And there's some big bold text that says hello YouTube. If you've gotten this far, you just created your first web page. Now, I can't see your web page. It's not published on the internet. It's on your computer right now. And we'll get to that stuff later. We'll get to what we call deploying it. We'll actually put it on a server out there where other people in the public can access it. Right now, it's just on your computer. So real quick, if you right click here, you can hit inspect if you're in Chrome. It might say something slightly different if you're in another browser, but usually it says inspect. And if you make sure you're on the Elements tab here, make this a little bit bigger. You can see we have HTML, doc type HTML, HTML, head, title, hello. We have the exact code that we wrote. We just created an HTML file, and the HTML file, or HTML, is the backbone of a web page. It is what provides the structure and the information that a web browser, Chrome in this case, actually consumes and displays to the user. We'll make more videos. We'll have lots more videos covering these topics in the future. But just so you know, for now, you have just created your first web page and you've created a big headline Okay, so let's quickly cover what each of these lines actually does. So the first thing we do here is we declare a doc type. And this is just letting the browser know that, hey, here's an HTML document. Next, we have the HTML tag. So anytime you see these brackets with something inside, this is called an HTML tag. HTML has lots of tags. It has HTML, obviously. It has head, has title, body, h1. These are all examples of tags in HTML. And like I said earlier, HTML provides the structure of a web page. So here we're providing structure by saying we want to give a title nested under this head tag, and we want to give an h1 nested under this body tag. Now the head tag is where we display kind of meta information about the page. You'll see hello is not actually displayed anywhere here, but if you look up here, you see it in the tab name. So inside of the head of an HTML document is where we're going to put various information, like we might put the icon if we want to have like a fancy icon. This is the default little planet here. But say we want to have a fancy icon, you've probably noticed this on websites before. Or say we want to link to some style sheets, say some CSS files. Maybe you've heard of CSS, and it's how we actually style a web page. We provide color and fonts and spacing and all kinds of stuff. Maybe we need to link out to that so that we can load it and tell the browser how to move around these elements that we provided. All that kind of information, any kind of meta information or any kind of external resources that we need to pull in to render the page is going to go in the head. And we'll see more examples of this in the future. In the body is where the actual content is going to go. And this is what actually gets rendered and displayed to the user, right? So the body is kind of the all-encompassing starter point for the content itself. And from here, we can add all kinds of structure. At the moment, we've just added one simple tag called h1. And h1 is one of 6 tags for headlines. So HTML actually got its start as being a way to describe and share research papers. So if you think of, even if you're working in Word these days or Markdown or whatever you might work in, we provide various levels of structure. We might have headlines, we might have lists, we might have tables, anything that you could imagine that would make it useful to display in a particular hierarchy information. That's what HTML is kind of made for. So here, again, simple web page. All we've done is provide some simple meta, a title for the page, and then an actual headline to display. You've just created your first web page. We'll make another video where we actually style this page, and we will keep going from there.